Anybody, excited for what's going on?
Oh, most definitely.
I don't know. It could be hard to top harvesting the innards of a dragon.
Oh, I didn't tell you guys that was all a dream.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Sorry about that.
That explains our great success. Why would gallstones be iron stones? That doesn't make sense.
Right? That's so
Yeah.
I should have known.
Feels like we're missing somebody. I wonder who it could be.
Kids these days.
So, what you guys been into?
Crap,
Not a whole lot.
homebrew world. Yourself?
Other than work being stupid busy, not a whole lot.
Beans.
It's going to be riveting for those people watching the VOD.
For sure.
Hello, people who are watching the VOD. If you're actually watching this,
You should be here.
probably. Just in case you're actually watching it because, you think we play an interesting game of Dungeons & Dragons. Well, in that case, I'm sorry. And Lucas will give you some sort of prize if you can answer how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Wait, why do I have to get the prize?
It's your channel.
Oh, shit.
Lucas is just gonna get like a tweet 50 years down the road. Like 17. Like, what is this?
What?
Why do people keep tweeting me numbers?
What is this nonsense?
Reminds me of listening to some of the early Drunks and Dragons podcasts. Because they'll do stuff kind of like that. They're like, so if you get this in like 28, or I guess they'll start off like, so in 2014, when somebody's listening to this, be sure you tweet. I'm like, I didn't listen to this until 2017. Should I still tweet?
Still
Absolutely. Because now they're starting to have people doing those tweets. They're like, oh, just listening it to the first time. They're getting all these random tweets about that shenanigans. Or they'll forget about such a date that they put in one of the podcasts. You get a whole lot of tweets randomly on like the 13th of December.
Yeah, one day it's going to be us. We're going to be that popular. We're going to have our own podcast network.
Wouldn't that be
Oh my gosh.
Just as soon as, we have time to do like semi-professional sound editing.
right?
Oh
possibly, get through and actually like edit out a whole bunch of the miscellaneous crap random tangents we go on.
We could have had all those nice things if it weren't for Amanda.
Oh,
That is true.
Or, someone who knows what he's doing. I mean, that's helpful too.
Like I said, if it wasn't for Amanda, we'd have someone like that.
Right? If everyone were just on time.
I left a whole bunch of dishes in Mom's sink, and I felt bad, so I had to hurry and wash them because she's going to be home soon. And I was like, sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Look what I did to you.
It
Okay.
wasn't me, it was the baby.
That's right.
He made
Baby
me eat
inside of me.
everything.
The baby inside of me made me do it.
I have no self-control when it comes to food.
I think that was true before.
Yes, but now I have a reasonable excuse, too. So,
I have it on good authority that if you use that excuse while you're pregnant, you're gonna hate coming, when you're no longer pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear it right now. I can worry about that later.
Yep. I mean, as long as you're willing to go to the gym 4 times a day.
Yeah, I've never been to the gym once, I don't think, ever, so.
Oh, well, then you're starting off great.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm on a roll.
Personally, I think that's healthy. I think it means you're perfectly happy with who you are. You're not worried
I'm
about what
perfectly
commercials
happy
say
with
you
an
should do.
entire ham.
What about what the people on Jersey Shore say?
Oh, well, those people you definitely need to listen to.
I should really listen to them more, honestly.
So, which of you guys wants to roll me a d20?
Well, my internet cut
All
out
of you.
through last time, so I can only redo half of
Ah! Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Looks like Octavia gets to redo all of it.
it.
Oh, I need to get my notebook out.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this episode is likely to be mandatory rewatching. There's going to be a lot of stuff here.
Next story, right?
Uh-oh.
So
Yeah, there's
Right, yeah.
lots of things.
So what,
I think we just separated all the loot last time, and then my internet cut out, and I didn't have a chance to watch the load again. So everyone got some really badass loot.
So it was really badass. What was it?
There was some ion stones, and there was these goggles. They're not really goggles, but they were like sapphire face mask type thingy, and a black hole, and...
God, you found a black hole?
Yes, there's a black hole. And
It's really unfortunate.
There was armor, and there was a necklace, and there's something else.
I have to say, I did think it was pretty awesome that, like, the one thing that Xavier was like, oh god, we gotta check that armor out. We gotta check that armor out. Was just like,
it was
plus
the,
one armor.
it was the least impressive of all the items that were available.
I had fun with that.
Risked life and limb to get it, and nope,
Multiple times, even.
multiple times. It's all good.
You were like, the dragon's out. I'll run down there and get that.
Oh, it's covered in 3 feet of ice. Oh, well, never mind. Let's just turn around. And save
What am
the
I
day.
missing? There's something else I got. The sword?
Stones?
No, oh yeah, the elemental stone.
No, Caden got those.
No? Well,
Well,
Okay.
shit.
I'm forgetting something.
Okay, well, since we've had such a successful recap, Octavia,
You're welcome.
looks like Bag of Holding is to do the rest of it.
Oh, good job, Bag of Holding. I keep track of everything.
Oh, my bag of holding? Oh, shit.
That's what you rolled as.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Guys have
What
spoken.
was last week? 19th. So, yeah, we did divvy up the loot, and trying to see what else we got here. We harvested the dragon, and we got hide units. We got
3
bone
hides,
units.
16 bones, the brain, the eyes, and 4 gallstones.
Caden ate the brain, almost died. I spit it out. And so he now gets like advantage on saves versus magic, which is awesome. Numa decided to eat dragon eyes, and now he's got like some kind of dragon sight or some kind of bullshit. Let's see, what else do we
Actually,
got?
he ended up like the least awesome version of it in that he got extra dark vision, distance, and some blind sight.
Yeah, that would have been great for.
But he also now has really big, bulgy eyes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's right.
anime eyes.
No, not anime. Gross, disgusting,
Oh, that's
bulgy
right.
eyes.
Roswell, alien looking. And then we did get 4 of the gallstone ion stones. 2 of them were absorption, 2 of them were protection. And if we eat the heart, and I believe we said it was 4 bites.
Yeah, 4
uses.
Yeah, there's 4 effective uses.
4 uses of heart, which each one gives haste and heroism with the chance of killing you.
Yep.
Serious side effects. Got some information on Long Saddle. After we got dropped off, we started heading down there. We sent a message to Leosin, and he said, "We must hurry to Waterdeep." Friends in Long Saddle. Yeah.
And he sent us a raven.
Oh, we believe he sent us a raven.
A raven showed up.
Holding a parcel, and Caden unknowingly read the parcel, which was actually a spell. And then a portal showed up, and we were like, "Oh, well, that's Leosin, so we'll go." And that's where we ended.
All right. So, does anyone have any ideas for what they want the new characters to be? Since you stepped through an unknown portal to an unknown location.
Well, it depends on what kind of group we're going for. I've got some ideas.
You
No,
never
so
have ideas.
who was the first one through the portal?
I was. Xavier.
All right, so as you step through the portal, you step out into a large, almost vaulted chamber. It's very ornate and decorative. It's clearly well built. It looks like it's got marble flooring. It looks like the walls are made, you think, mostly of marble. So whatever this place is, it's super fancy.
Right.
And as you step through, there's no one there. And this room is probably 50, 60 feet across. You see a couple of doors. It's a circular room. And you see the doors kind of on either side of the room. Big ornate double doors, wooden. That's basically all you see right as you step through.
Maybe
And
giant-sized doors?
shortly after you step through, the rest of your and they're
Human-sized giant doors.
large. They're for lack of a better term, they're like formal.
Oh,
like they're not
right,
just
right.
your standard. Like, oh, I'm going into my house door,
They're
but
French
they're
doors.
not.
Right.
And as you stand there for just that moment, the rest of your party continues kind of popping into existence behind you. When you look back, all you see is kind of an inky black hole just kind of in reality. You don't see anything on the other side. Like, you don't see them stepping through. You just kind of see the material as they come out of it.
Right.
I told you we found a black hole.
Well, this is new.
Have you ever seen a room like this before?
Let me check. No, I don't believe I have. And I'm going to slink off towards the I guess the east door.
Okay. Give me just 1 second, Allie just got home. Be right back.
Hi.
Gonna see if I hear anything, but never mind.
Yeah, you heard Allie's home. She's behind the door. Watch out.
We're in an
Watch out for the
alley.
dark alleyways. They're dangerous.
Dark alleys.
They're back.
They're bad. Oh, man. So did you listen all the way through, Ryan? All 7 hours?
What? Oh no, I didn't. No, I took. Is it all recorded on the VOD?
It's on Twitch. I haven't gotten it out to YouTube yet. It's on Twitch.
I figured like you might have ended the VOD or something when roughly about the time we ended the game.
No, I figured we had
It was
some
all
riveting
recorded.
conversation between 4 of us, so I was like, I might want to just leave this going just in case, you know.
Yeah.
Something
No, when it's
interesting.
recorded, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Okay.
Oh, he's back.
Right.
Oh, jeez. Nothing.
So-
I'll do that later.
Can I do a perception check to see if I hear anything now that we're inside this random room of roomness?
Sure.
And I'll go towards the opposite set of doors from Xavier.
Is there a map we're on right
Nope.
now?
Theater of the
Okay.
mind.
That's right. This is the best kind.
Jeez Louise, my mind is not here.
It's
It's in the theater.
on food.
It's in the theater.
The food theater.
It's on the food. I painted my dog's toes today too.
In your mind, imagine a large circular room. It's like it would belong in like a cathedral somewhere. You know, vaulted ceilings, 20, 30, 40 feet above your head. 2 large double doors ornately carved on either side of the room. There's basically no furniture in here. There's very little in the way of decorations. There are some tapestries on the walls.
What do they depict?
You're not close enough to really make them out.
Figure a dark library with no books.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check the east door, do a little trappy trap check, and see if I can hear something on the other side.
First, Octavia, you don't hear anything in the room. Like there's no noises kind of leaking in from anywhere. You do notice that on the floor, after the kind of this portal thing closed behind you, as you're looking around and trying to listen, your gaze wanders to the floor and you see a metal ring with lots of characters and things wrought in metal sunk into the floor.
What
like
kind
it's-
of characters?
Clearly, they're arcane marks of some kind.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to trace it with my finger.
Oh God, that's what
It's
it
really
See if I
big.
understand.
So if you want to like
trace
bend
with
over
my
and
eyeball.
like walk around it with your finger touching on the metal.
No. I thought you meant like small little writings. I'd be like, what is
No, no,
this?
no.
Can I do a check to see if I would understand what kind of markings it would be for?
Sure.
Wait,
Arcana,
so you
I'm
said
guessing?
it's like metal markings on the floor?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
metal inset in the floor.
Oh.
Very intricate.
Does Xavier by chance see this?
Xavier
You
has
see me
made
definitely
perception
looking at
checks.
something.
Okay.
So
You said you were interested in the doors, so
Yeah.
I'm always fumbling around doing something behind you. So
Out of habit.
Yeah, it was just her doing her stuff.
So, as you look around, you think you've seen something similar to this. You remember in the cave underneath the castle in the swamp that there was something very similar in the floor, and you're starting to think, oh, maybe this is like a teleportation circle thing. You have no idea how it works, but you're like, oh, that's one of those things.
This is one of those things that we've seen before. That makes more and more sense.
It was underneath the castle, wasn't it?
Yes, the last time you saw something like that, it was under the castle.
Yeah, it's a lodge.
I'll kind of be talking to myself out loud. Be like, yes, I've never seen this at the castle. It was underneath it. You can't fool me, Floor. And I'll start walking around looking at tapestries while they're investigating the doors.
Okay. So, as Xavier, since you're the first one in the room, making your way over to one of the doors to check it out.
Yep.
So you just want to inspect it, check for traps, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, all the good stuff.
All right, make me some rolls.
There's an investigation and a perception for hearing. Wow. Not rolling great.
Everything.
So you're being very careful, having arrived in this unknown place, and you don't hear anything. You take note of the quality of the carvings in the doors. They also seem to kind of have like reliefs kind of carved into the doors, depicting towers and long, flowing robed men channeling magical energies.
Ooh. Okay.
And door doesn't seem to be trapped that you can tell.
Okay. Once Caden gets through, I'm going to get his input on, ropey type people channeling magic on doors.
Okay. Who wants to play Caden tonight?
Is he not coming?
Nah, he's not going to be here tonight.
What about Chip?
Chip's also out tonight.
Oh.
You guys are it.
Okay.
We are the dream team.
Which is why this, like I said, this is going to have to be required watching, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens.
So.
That's no pressure at all.
Chip and Adam need to roll new characters. I'll go ahead.
Behind.
I'll take Caden.
All right. So, what does Caden say as he comes up and Xavier asks him about the doors?
He's gonna run a history check. Seeing what the mages, or what I assume mages, depict.
Okay.
And I need a sheet, please.
Yep, it's available.
Okay. Hey, there it is.
So I guess that means Octavia is going to have to play Numa.
Oh,
They are on similar levels of social etiquette.
27.
Caden basically comes over and he's pretty sure that this is a depiction of Mordenkainen, famous mage, developer of many great and powerful magics. Not sure why specifically it would be here, but he's pretty sure that's who it is.
That's awesome.
He will relay that message and then check it for arcane signatures.
There's no arcane anything that he can pick up from the door.
Well, it seems to be fine.
Here in this area, I'm just going to push his door open on the other side of the room.
All right, so on the opposite end of the room, you push your door open. It doesn't seem to be locked. And it just opens out into a hallway. The hallway seems to be curving around in both directions. It kind of seems like it's running around the outside, the exterior of the room that you're in.
While they're doing that, can I be looking at the tapestries?
Yeah, so as you look at the tapestries, what you see is, again, robed figures seeming to cast fireballs and controlling elemental forces and beings. Sometimes in great battles, sometimes just kind of in a study or a tower that seems to be more like a laboratory.
Okay. Then hearing the door, I'll probably make my way that way. See if I can
Xavier
see.
will as well. I don't want Heravan to go running off by himself.
All right, seeing everyone following my lead, I will go to the right.
All right, you take a turn to the right and start following the hallway. You don't really see any doorways or anything. You go 30, 40, 50 feet, kind of around the circumference of the room, and you feel like you get about to the 90-degree mark from where you exited the room, and then you see an opening to your left that goes into a staircase.
Clearly the correct direction, then I will go for that staircase.
I'm going to be, Xavier will actively be searching for hidden doors along these hallways.
And I'd like to continue to listen to see if I hear voices, footsteps, etc., etc.
You're having a hard time hearing much of anything over the noises your group is making. Since no one's attempting to be like stealthy, it's.
I am talking to myself too, so there's that.
So, Xavier, if you would like to make me another investigation check.
Yep.
And if you're going to be searching for doors, you're obviously going to be slowing down and taking your time to kind of look at the walls. And
yeah, I mean, I figure I can still catch up because I move faster than just about anybody. So, secret doors I get advantage on. 21.
You're taking your time looking around. You're not seeing any indication of secret doors.
Okay.
At least not in the hallway that you've explored so far.
Cool. So I'll just maintain that until we get to this, till I get to the staircase, and then I'll keep pace to keep up.
So as you take the staircase, it continues kind of on a gentle curve, like it's not, you had the room in the center, the hallway you were following kind of just outside of it, and then you got to the stairway, and it's kind of like it's in a third, almost concentric circle, going up and up. And after you followed it for another good, again, you feel about like a 90-degree walk around this new, slightly larger circle. You feel like you've gone up probably 30 feet or so. And you come to a closed door.
All right, going to push that open.
And as you push that door open...
Never mind.
I don't know what you all are so frightened about. This is a gift from Leosin, and he's summoned us. I'm sure he's waiting patiently for our arrival.
Hopefully this is Waterdeep.
You push the door open, and you see another hall, but this one on a much grander scale. This is like a reception / entrance hall for a fine building. It's probably 50, 60 feet across, at least 100 feet from the large entry archway, you see to your left to where you are, and then another 100 feet or more beyond that. And you see a handful of people kind of milling about, making their way across this hall, this entrance hall. They all seem to be kind of occupied with their own thoughts. Many of them wearing long robes.
Does there look to be any sort of like reception counter or anything like that?
There is like a small triangular kiosk that has a map of all the stores and the levels in the mall. No, there's no reception kiosk.
God. All right, so quick look over my shoulder to the rest of the party for. Can I look around for any familiar faces, like see if Leosin is one of these people amongst the crowd?
Sure, you can look. You'd like to make me a perception check.
Right. How does that 9 do?
I mean, most of the people you see seem to be human. Like there's one you're not entirely sure about. It's got like an odd skin color, but given the robes and the hood that they're walking around with, you really can't tell.
Wait, does anyone look familiar, or do these robes look like robes we may have seen before?
No one you can see clearly enough is recognizable. And the robes do not, like they're a variety of colors and styles. It's not like they're a uniform.
It's not like, okay. That's me. Makes it so much easier.
So the only thing that really stands out is that they all seem to be wearing robes.
Are they like talking amongst each other, or just kind of standing about the room?
There's a couple of small groups. One's a couple of people. One's 3 people. They all seem to be traveling the same direction, but still like just quietly conversing.
I'd like to, I guess, get in step behind one of these groups walking. Try to see if I can either overhear their conversation or follow them for a brief time.
Okay. You just kind of like boldly walk up there and follow them, or?
Yeah, like with purpose. Like I know I'm supposed to be here.
Okay, if you'll make me a performance check.
All right. Ciao.
All right, so you begin striding after one of these groups, the group of 3 people. They seem to be making their way in the general direction of the big archway you see. You can see like daylight outside of it. And you just start following them. What are the rest of you doing?
Is it like people standing around reading books or anything? Are there books about, or someone just sitting there studying something, or?
You don't see anyone with any books. Like you see some people. Well, like, you do see people like carrying a book or 2. You don't see anyone like sitting and studying.
I'll go up to someone with a book and just be like, that book, yes, that one. I've read that one before. Heard of it, at least.
Okay.
Very interesting.
That's what Octavia's doing. Xavier, what are you doing?
All right, so I missed the part where we walked in here. What's...
So
that's basically where we're at.
You walk in, big entrance hall, like at least 200 feet long from one end to the other. Several people moving about the hallway. It's not crowded. There's very lightly populated, but there are some people moving about. They all seem to be wearing robes, although none of the robes are like the same color, or there's no consistency to them that would imply like a uniform or anything. Aravan is now walking off purposefully, following a group of 3 of them who were kind of wandering, or like walking and talking. Octavia has gone up to a different person who has a book and is trying to engage them in conversation about this book.
I see. Can I see like a doorway on the other side?
There are several doors in the hall.
Okay.
You came out of one of them. There's a very large archway that you can see daylight outside of to your left.
Okay. I will head towards daylight.
Okay, so you're going to kind of walk. Are you going to follow Airvan, who's also kind of headed in that general direction? Or are you just actually making your way towards the big archway?
Straight towards the arch.
Okay.
I want to figure out where we're at.
Now that the party has decided to split,
Yes.
Octavia is the first one to reach her target.
It's a trap.
So,
Close up.
you step up and you say, "Oh yes, I've read that book." And the guy looks at you and he says, "Oh, well, so what did you think of Shugath's theorem, transportation and transmutation?"
I think it had some interesting aspects to it, but I mean, overall, I was a little iffy on it.
Well, he certainly does propose some bold theories. It's hard to say whether he's completely accurate. I mean, everyone does their magic in their own way. But
Yes.
I'm sorry. Given your attire, I would have assumed you to be a fighter of some kind. I did not. Where did you study magic?
I'm not saying that I've studied it. I'm just more interested in reading about it so much. I mean, I am a cleric and I do dabble a little bit in the magic. It's more interesting than useful towards me.
Oh, right. Well, yes, I guess studying, or I guess serving a god can be a little dry sometimes. Certainly, I would much prefer the arcane studies myself. No offense. I tithe to all the gods as appropriate on the high festivals. But yes, so you say you've read more for interests. Well, I'm glad you've taken an interest in it, but I myself am working to perfect a spell that I thought his theories might help me with. So, do you enjoy your time at the college? But I must be going.
Yes, of course. I don't want to keep you waiting. It's just very intriguing to see someone of the same interest. You don't come across many people who are into things like that around here. Everyone has their own.
Well, I'd say if you're looking for people interested in the arcane, you've come to the right place.
This place is.
Do forgive me. I've forgotten my manners. As a scholar at the college, it is our duty to offer help to those who come to seek it. Is there some help that you require?
Well, I was looking
As he's saying this, you can tell
gentleman.
he's really hoping you don't say there's any help you need.
I'm Octavia. I don't read those social cues.
Right, okay, he looks like he's got a slight stomach pain as he says this.
Are you feeling ill? I can help you with that.
Oh, no, but if there's nothing you needed, then I must really be getting to my studies.
One quick question before I let you go. Do you happen to know where Leosin may be? He told us to meet him here, and we're just, I just trying to figure out which. I got mixed up, looking at all the books.
Leosin, can't say I'm familiar with that name. Is he a scholar here?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, if he asked you to meet him here, perhaps he meant in the gardens outside.
Perfect. That's where I'll head. Thank you. You've been more than helpful, and I wish you the best in your studies and your spells, and I hope you find what you're looking for. That is a very useful book. Yes, useful.
Thank you. You have a good day. And he scurries to the nearest door.
Turn around and realize I have no idea where the garden is.
Okay, so while that was going on, Xavier's making his way towards the big archway.
Yep.
And Erevan, you're purposely falling behind this group, and they don't really seem to pay you any attention. You seem to be just fitting right in, just bebopping along.
And can I overhear any of their conversation, hoping to try and get an idea of where we might have popped up? Even to overhear if they're speaking Draconic, potentially this is cult area, and so we should be careful with that regard, or otherwise.
Sure. If you'd like to make me a perception check.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they're not engaged in an argument or anything, but they are talking amongst themselves, and they're kind of keeping it a little quiet because this room seems pretty echoey. You didn't have much trouble hearing Octavia. You couldn't really make out what she was saying, but you could definitely hear her.
Yeah.
So, the best you can tell, they're talking about the efficacy of different plant components and the substitution, how you can substitute one type of fungi for this particular type of flower, and that sometimes if you find that there are some small animals who feast and eat these sorts of things on a routine basis, so sometimes the liver of those little animals can be useful. They're not really talking about where they are or anything like that. They are talking common.
All right. I guess just kind of continuing to follow them, but heading towards the sun, I guess.
Okay. So you just continue. They actually head towards one of the doors. It's probably 30 feet from the big archway, and they kind of open it up and go walking, behind the door. If you'd like to follow them, you can.
Yeah, I'll try to just keep following them.
Okay. So they continue walking that way. Xavier.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm heading...
At this point, you've basically reached, you can now see pretty clearly outside of the big archway you found.
Okay. What do I see?
You see a very well manicured lawn. It's got several, flower plantings and shrubbery and all sorts of nice lawn decoration kind of grouped out. It's almost like it's been manicured as like a park. And you can see beyond the periphery of the park area that this seems to be in the middle of a city, because you see there's lots of housing of all kinds, just beyond the edge of this particular piece of property. The houses you can see are all pretty uniformly large. They seem to be of high quality.
Okay. Okay. High quality. I'm gonna just kind of putz around the manicured garden, looking for any kind of familiar face, if there's anyone out there.
As you're wandering around looking, you see that several of the people you see seem to be couples who've come here just kind of to wander in the park. They all seem to be very well dressed. Their bearing and demeanor would suggest that they may be somewhat higher on the social scale. And
we fit right in with these people.
I'm glad I changed my armor.
But again, you're not seeing anyone you recognize. you're free to try to approach someone if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not going to approach any of the couples. I'm going to try to find, like, if there's a guard or some kind of, like, street urchin floating around.
Okay.
I'll just start cruising, trying to find someone.
It doesn't take you long to spot someone who's actually working, like, on the lawn and, pulling weeds and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So if you'd like to approach him.
Yeah, I'll slip up to him casually. Straighten my cloak a little bit.
Yes, sir. Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, yes. I just got in via the portal inside the college. Would you happen to know if there is a monastery around here?
Monastery? No, I don't reckon there's any monastery. We got several temples. Temples to most of the gods, shrines. But I don't think there's any monasteries hereabouts.
And I'll just kind of lean in just a little bit closer and say, "You look like a man who could use a good drink. Where would be a good tavern around here?"
Well, yeah, you're not wrong there, sir. It's hard work out here pulling these weeds and caring for the mage's gardens. But, well, if it's a proper tavern you'd like, I mean, and no offense, sir, but you don't strike me as the castle ward sort of drinker.
Yeah.
If you head
something stronger.
If you head out to the main road there, you see just past the boundaries of the garden, and head inland. Won't be long till you reach the main Kingsway that runs north-south through the city. If you go south there, in just a jiffy, you'll be in the trade ward, and there's a fine establishment called the Red Dragon.
The Red
Best ale in the city. I guess here its proper name is the Red Dragon Tavern and Brewery. And they do a little distilling in the back if you'd ask nicely.
Good man. And I'll take like 5 gold and slip it into his pocket.
So that's most generous of you. If you need a drinking partner, just let me know. I'll be happy to. I could show you the way if you'd like.
Well, I'm sure I can find my own way, and I'm sure I'll see you there later. But just one more question. I want to be sure that I'm being respectful to the culture of the area. What city is this?
Well, I always did think traveling through them their magical means must scramble the brains a bit. But you be in Waterdeep, sir.
I was hoping
be
I
real
would turn up
specific
here.
for you. This is the Mage's College. We're in the Castle Ward of Waterdeep.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. How rude of me. I didn't catch your name. How am I supposed to know how to call you out at the tavern?
Well, sir, my name it's a simple name. I'm Barry.
Barry. Good, strong name. All right, Barry. Well, I'll see you at the tavern later tonight.
Yes, sir. Do have yourself a good day, sir.
Oh, I will. And you be safe out here.
Well, there may be troubles abound, but Waterdeep, she's a safe city.
That it is. Good day.
Good day to you too, sir.
I will.
At this point, we're
Casually.
going to swap to Aravan.
Yep.
Who is following these three gentlemen through the hallways. And before we go on from there, I'll be right back because the dog is pestering me for water.
Right.
Tell me your secrets.
Tell me all your secrets, Gardener. I know you know everything. The Red Dragon. Sounds kind of shady if you ask me.
Sounds hipster.
That's true. Excuse me.
And with that, I'm back.
Oh,
Convenient timing.
So, Ervin, as you're following these three gentlemen, they continue down the hallway that you saw them enter, and all these hallways seem to be at least somewhat curved. Nothing seems to be on a particularly straight line in here, but you follow them for a ways, and then they take a left into a large chamber. Many tables laid out, and they make their way to kind of a table longer than normal table on one edge of the room. It seems to be piled with breakfast foods, and they take plates and begin making themselves plates, continuing the discussion the entire time.
all right. I'm gonna follow them up and just start making my own plate, and in doing so, start looking around and kind of making light conversation with the people nearest me to start inquiring about where Leosin is and where the Harpers meet up, or any known locations closest to here.
Okay, so as you follow them up and grab like a plate, the one furthest in the line kind of looks at you and goes, you must be new to the college?
Fairly recent arrival.
Well, I guess it's nice to meet you. My name is Ferris, and you are?
Well, Ferris, I'm Erevan. I'm taking a polite bow.
And Erevan, what is it that you study?
A variety of things, subjects, and topics range from across a wide range of classes. As you can see, kind of gesturing towards his black dragon mask, I've traveled far and wide and acquired a number of relics of my own significance.
Are you wearing the black dragon mask?
Yeah, he's wearing
it
in the open.
I am.
Okay.
Like as a mask.
Like as a mask.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Why? What do you study within these walls?
I study the School of Divination, and my two friends here are studying under our master, Master Calcifer, who is a master of evocation magic. Forgive me for suggesting this, but I'm not entirely sure you belong here, sir. And I'm afraid that I'm going to need a very convincing explanation for what you're doing here wearing such a thing as that.
Well, as I said before, if you can point me in the direction of the Harpers, I think they call themselves the Harbingers, the Harpers, something like that, to that effect. And as for why I wear this is a trophy of one of my more recent conquests.
Well, let me just say that I find it the poorest of taste for you to be wearing such that at times like these. And if you would like to accompany us, I believe we have someone you need to meet.
Very well then. Now we're talking.
And they begin to escort you. The guy you've been talking to, Varys, kind of walking mostly beside you, slightly behind you, kind of indicating with his hands, turn here, that kind of thing. But the other two staying back a little distance, and you get the feeling they're keeping things prepared.
Could I make use of this ability from Hazer on the first time and spend a charge to cast Detect Thoughts on this guy?
You absolutely can.
Right. There it goes.
Okay. Let's see. He gets some sort of saving assist, doesn't he?
I believe I get kind of just the immediate surface thoughts, and if I want to probe deeper, looking for anything specific, he gets a wisdom save.
Okay. Right, okay, so he will know if you try to probe into his mind.
Yes.
So his surface thoughts are basically that he's got to get you to someone. He doesn't really think the name, he's just kind of thinking more or less I've got to get you to this guy. And that he's not entirely sure, but he thinks you must have something to do with this cult of the dragon that's been causing so many problems recently.
Good to finally be receiving recognition for our great deeds.
You say that out loud, or is that just you thinking?
That's me thinking.
So he thought out loud.
So yeah, I'll just keep following these guys.
Okay. Where is my random name generator when I need one? So, Octavia, what are you doing?
Okay, so after he's like, oh, he's in the garden, I'm like, oh, awesome, the garden. Okay, I'm going to turn around and be like, oh, where's the garden?
About the time you turn around, you can see Xavier, and we'll just assume Caden and Numa were following you. That you see the three of them making their way out of the big archway.
One sec, I'm joking. Pigeon.
What?
Don't eat suckers, they kill. Okay. So I'm gonna see them going out towards the archway, and I'm gonna put a pep in my step and kind of run that way. Oh, there they are. Okay, they must know where they're going. So I'm gonna follow them to the garden.
Okay, so you catch up in time to get all the explanation about the conversation that Xavier was having with the gardener.
What did I do?
Oh dear.
the conversation you had with the gardener.
Oh, yeah.
Octavia was there to listen in on it.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, because she caught up with you.
She's even sneakier than I am.
Very sneaky.
You noticed her catching up.
Oh, okay.
I tripped over a bucket on the way out.
And
over the artery.
so these three people continue to escort Airvan, and they actually take you up a couple of staircases and eventually to a more regular sized door, slightly ornate. And the first one steps up and knocks on the door, and you hear a voice on the other side call, "Enter." The guy opens the door for you and kind of ushers you in. And the three of them, you and then the three of them, step through. And the first guy, whose name I've already forgotten what I told you it was.
Varys?
Yeah, Varys. He steps up and says, "Forgive me for the interruption, but Roburn, I guess, Magister Roburn, I thought you should be made aware of this." And at this point you see an elderly gentleman, also wearing robes, who's kind of like looking you up and down and just kind of takes in what he sees and says, "Well, Varys, what specifically have you brought him to me for?" "Well, sir, it's merely a suspicion, but he followed us through the hallways to the breakfast hall, and when I inquired as to his presence, he claimed he had recently begun study here. I thought that most unlikely, and given his attire and his failure to speak truly, I thought it best to bring this to your attention, in case steps needed to be taken. It is merely my supposition, but with this mask of his, perhaps he is a more feeble-witted member of the dragon cultists that have caused us so much trouble recently."
Your words insult me, Varys.
"That is none of my concern at this time."
Well, perhaps your lies will be of some concern to Maester Roburn, was it?
Magister Roburn.
Yes.
And you say he speaks lies?
I do indeed. For upon being asked whether or not I was a student at this college, as he called it, I claimed to be a recent arrival. And
you said you were a student of many subjects.
I said I've studied a great deal of topics. And I've traveled a great deal. And I've come across a number of treasures, items, and acquisitions, such as this that I claimed in a recent victory over one of my foes. Pointing to the mask. I would say that.
And Roburn looks at you and says, "I can see how your words could be interpreted in many ways. I commend Varys on his intuition and his circumspection in bringing you to me. Now I'll have you answer honestly. What are you doing here? Why are you in our tower?"
I'd like to start casting Zone of Truth on the area
Jeez.
immediately around us. Oh, absolutely in front of mages.
And as you start doing that, a few things happen.
You die.
First, the Magister makes a very quick motion with his hand, and you get like just a rush of wind that kind of like you don't see, like he's got papers on his desk and everything. You don't see anything move, but you just feel this rush of pressure push up against you, and the words that were forming in your mind to help cast this zone of truth just like dissipate, as you don't know exactly what he did, but something he did just stopped your spell in mid casting.
All right. You say you wish to hear my words. Go ahead.
There's more.
I'm gonna need you to make. Let's see, what is it? Come on. I'm gonna need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right. Ciao.
Natural 20.
Okay, so there's one success. And I should make another wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Octavia, aren't these white roses just brilliant?
That's a failure. So you resist the first hold person spell that was being cast upon you by the people behind you, but you don't resist the second hold person spell.
Her.
So you are now paralyzed, and Magister Roburn looks at you and says, "That was unwise, friend. You have come to the heart of magic in Waterdeep. You seek to cast spells upon us. How foolish you must be." And they pull up a chair and like basically slide it behind you, and then while you can't move your muscles, they basically force you down into the chair.
All right.
Well, this is fun.
And the two people that were standing behind you and Varys, who is kind of standing next to you, array themselves around you in like basically a three-pointed star. And you can see each of them like continually muttering something under their breath. And you're pretty sure if like you can feel your muscles kind of come back to you. But you're pretty sure if you make any other move, you're going to get hit with something a lot more painful than a whole person spell.
Yeah. I really want to now.
Do it. Do it.
Uh,
What would Erevan do? WWED.
but the Magister, while you were paralyzed, they went ahead and took your weapons from you.
All right.
And he's now laid them on his desk.
I can speak now?
Yes, you can now speak. But he's speaking first.
All right.
So he's in the middle of saying this as he's drawn your sword and basically any obvious weapons you've got, he's pulled them off and set them on his desk. And when he pulls Hazaron out and sets it down, he basically looks at you and says, "I see that you are most powerfully equipped. I do not know what your mission is or why you have come here, but you alone, no matter how powerful you may be, are no match for the combined might of the people in this college. I again invite you to speak truly and tell me, why are you here? What do you want?" And it should be obvious by now, should you attempt to cast another spell, make any other aggressive action, we are most prepared to put an end to your ability to do so.
For ones with an overinflated ego such as your own, you claim to speak on behalf of wisdom, and yet you seem to speak using so little of it. You claim that my words weave a story hard to interpret on this side or that side from truth and lies. And so, on your behalf, I was casting the Zone of Truth spell, presuming you to be familiar with such practices. Apparently, I was mistaken, however. Should you not wish any sort of arcane guarantee that the words that I speak are in fact true, then do not doubt the words that I speak. And know that from the moment I entered this college, I had no intention of harm upon you nor any of your collegelings.
So, as you say that, as you start, mocking him for not being able to tell how to cast Zone of Truth, he starts making some motions in the air, and I need you to make a charisma save.
Awesome.
So you have failed. You now feel compelled to speak the truth.
All right. Continuing on exactly as I was saying. But yeah, I had no intention of harming you nor anyone within this college. I was here simply on behalf of another, one who finds rank within the Harpers, an organization that runs upon secrets or the like. I've come from behalf
The one who
of...
claims to come on behalf of a Harper. You seem bold enough in speaking the name. If half the stories are true, Harpers are practically ghosts, loath to even speak of their existence, much less brag about it.
Perhaps they might be, and perhaps is why I was sworn myself to the Order of the Gauntlet. But the allies I travel with are acting on his direct behalf. And he...
How did you arrive here?
Some sort of teleportation scroll that our wizard read aloud.
And at that, he kind of, starts to just give you a withering look. Do you mean to tell me that you arrived on behalf of the monk Leosin?
Precisely as I told your underlings here.
And he actually, I don't think you ever actually mentioned the name Leosin to them. So
Right.
as you start to say precisely as I told, you're like, wait, no, I didn't tell them. So you're like, precisely as
I was planning on telling your underlings, for I was held within place here.
Well, it's most interesting to learn these things that you claim about Leosin. I know him as an envoy from Verdusk, who had arranged for the use of our teleportation circle to assist in the gathering of influential peoples for a council of wise and statesman-like individuals. I am interested in his choice to bring you, but I believe you are telling the truth. Let me contact Leosin and inform him that you have arrived. In the meantime, I highly recommend that you take that mask off. Do not wear it openly in the city. Many are the refugees who have come to us, who have suffered at the hands of dragons in recent times. You might very well find yourself, well, best not to incite a riot if at all possible. I had been told there might be others. Is there anyone else with you?
Yes. There's Caden, Octavia, Xavier, Numa.
And where are they, might I ask?
They were right behind me. Whenever your friend Barris here decided to lead me off on this wild goose chase.
You are a man of strange convictions. I find it difficult, and at this point, Varys cuts in. It's like, I did no such thing. I was on my way to breakfast. As I said, you are a man of strange convictions. Let me contact Leosin. Varys, if you will take him back to the main entry hall, and perhaps guide him to the entry arch and ask him to remain there. Please. Now. And with that, the three of them, start to hurry you away and out of the room.
Did I get my things back, or did he keep those?
He's keeping them for now.
I got this guy. We'll meet again.
And they lead you back down the stairs you just came up, back into the main hallway where you first started following them, and lead you to the main entry arch and basically push you just outside the archway and say, stay there.
And presumably during this time, I've taken the black dragon mask off.
I'm going to assume you did, yes.
Stick my tongue out at him. Ha! Yep, putting that out of sight then.
So, that happened. You see the rest of your party, wandering about in the gardens. In fact, we'll say that Numo had been asked to keep watch to see where the heck you went. And when he sees you being escorted out, he comes up to you and says, "Oh, Erevan, there you are. Come this way. We found out we're in Waterdeep."
Good to know. Seems the people here are as stuck up as I remember.
And Erevan, as you get outside, you recognize these gardens. You've been here before.
Uh-oh.
It's been a while, but when you first moved to the city with your family, you got out, you kind of explored a little bit, not much, but, well supervised. But these are a popular, location just for strolling, and on pretty days, they've got very nicely kept, a park-like atmosphere. It's not particularly close to your home, but you are now smack dab in the middle of Waterdeep again.
Oh, hello, friend.
And as I assume you relay that the mages are going to contact Leosin and let them know you guys have arrived.
Basically, to kind of stay close.
I'm going to be admiring the white flowers that Xavier pointed out.
And so as you wait, it's not long for a runner basically arrives with a handwritten note, and he begins looking around for someone of Numa's description. And he sees Numa, runs up to him, and says, "Are you Numa Atar? This message is from your master, Leosin." And he, delivers it and runs off. And the note, you open up the note, it says, please come to... Let me find another random name. Please come to the Famot Inn, which is in the trade district, and we can discuss things there. I'm very happy you've arrived safely. Much has happened. We have much to discuss.
Let us go. Someone else lead the way though, because I don't know where that is. Oh, do you follow my lead? Oh, I'm going to point in a random direction. This way.
Aravan, being that you're the one who's most familiar with Waterdeep, you know where the trade ward or trade district is. You can give general directions that will get you guys there. Right. Then you know it won't be too hard to find this inn.
All right. So I will lead the way then. And in doing so, like, kind of pulling up the hood on my cloak, seeing that's how we're back at Waterdeep.
Do you still have the hat of disguise?
I think I gave it to Xavier. I'm not attuned to it.
Right, you're not attuned to it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Octavia, now that you're back in Waterdeep, you're forcefully reminded of
that lovely gentleman who came to visit me in my room.
Yes, the very lovely gentleman who came to visit you.
Very handsome.
And his pleas to protect yourself, your friends, and everyone by turning in, or at least informing him of the location of the murderer, Aravan.
We haven't had a heart-to-heart with Aravan since then. That's put a damper on things.
So,
he was very good looking. So now I'm like,
But
on the walk over, because I'm not attuned to the hat of disguise, Aravan would like to approach Caden to ask him if he's got any spells that might help conceal his identity.
Okay, well, let's check. He has minor illusion, which really isn't going to help you. I'm not really seeing anything that looks like it would help you.
All right, just not a check. All right, then onward.
So, you start making your way through the castle ward. You consciously select roads that you know kind of run away from your father's home.
Yeah.
Definitely not looking to get any closer to that. So you kind of take a little bit of a roundabout path to get into the trade district.
Right.
Once you do get there, the name of the Famart Inn didn't really strike any chords with you. Once you get into the trade district where there's a lot more strangers, a lot more hustle and bustle, you kind of turn it over to Xavier to kind of take the lead and tell him, you're not sure where this place is. He may have to ask around. And as he does, he kind of gets directed to, it's clearly not on one of the main roads, but he finally finds somebody who's like, oh, yeah, I think that's the one. If you go down this way, it's a couple of streets over from the main road. It's kind of a small little rundown place, but I think it's over there. As you get closer, the directions get better, and you do eventually find a kind of shabby looking inn. It's got only a few customers. It's midday-ish. This doesn't seem like the kind of place that anybody comes in to have a nice rousing lunch. So you kind of walk in and you see that Leosin is sitting in the small common room having a conversation with someone you don't recognize. And the moment you guys walk in, he jumps up and runs over to you and says, "Friends, you've returned, thank the gods. It was so long since we had gotten word from you. I have had many sleepless nights worrying about you, but it's so good to see you. Come, please, come. You must be tired, hungry, thirsty. And he goes and talks to the bartender. And you notice he doesn't actually pay anything. But the bartender, pours several goblets of wine and brings out a couple of loaves of bread and some big, blocks of cheese. Kind of sets them on a platter in the middle of the table, and you get the impression it's basically just, eat. Says, we only had just a few moments to speak, and communication over such long distances is nearly impossible. But tell me, what happened? Where have you been?
We've been several places.
And we'll skip over the recitation of everything that's happened. But as he is listening to everything, you can tell that he's both amazed, impressed, concerned. The revelations you bring back are momentous. And after you finished, he says, well, it is a great accomplishment that you have dealt such a blow to the cult and its activities. I wish I had better news. I'm sure you've seen the refugees in the city. The entire land has been under siege, almost, ever since we sent you on your travels, spreading from the south to the north, and in small flare-ups all across the lands. There's been reports of emboldened activity, raids. Travel by caravan is even more fraught with danger than ever before. Dragons are seen in the skies all along the Sword Coast. Villages, farmsteads, anywhere without a significant force to protect it has fallen prey to raids, to bandits. How much is the activities of the cult, and how much simply of those who would take advantage of the situation to seek their own ends, we don't know. What we do know is that whatever plan these cultists have put into motion goes far, far further afield than simply the raidings for treasures that were happening down in the green fields when we first met. The news you bring of their attempts to raise Tiamat from the Nine Hells, it confirms some of our worst fears. We had found other indications that something like that must be their aim, but had hoped that surely no one would be so foolish and, well, insane as to attempt something like this. It is most concerning that you say they have somehow brought the Red Wizards into this. The Red Wizards, well, 2,000 leagues away, they still managed to involve the Sword Coast in their machinations and cause trouble. To be involved in something this apocalyptic is It can't be good. We had begun to attempt to gather council here in Waterdeep to discuss this, to bring together representatives of the Harpers and the Order of the Gauntlet, the Lord's Alliance, the Emerald Enclave. So now it's obvious that it is imperative we meet soon. I think that if I take word of this to the right people, I believe most of the councillors have already arrived. I'm sure I can acquire an invitation for you as well. Many are the people who will wish to hear your recountings for themselves. I am glad that you have done what you have done. The challenges were great. If I had the opportunity, would perhaps have counseled differently in some of the decisions you had to make. But I was not there, and you were the ones who have to make the call. Well, we will see. There will be much to discuss. I hope that all of the council members will be appreciative of the deeds you have done for us. This inn should be safe. The people who own it are trustworthy. I suggest you rest here, gather your thoughts, and prepare yourselves. Sometime in the next couple of days, we are likely to be gathered to discuss what must be done from here. I have told you just the briefest of summaries of the chaos and, well, the havoc that has been wreaked along the Dragon Coast, or along the Sword Coast. We must prepare ourselves for what is to come. Rest, recuperate, and I will be in contact soon.
Thank you, Leos. It will be good to sleep on a comfortable bed. Safe walks for a change.
And, Erevan, I don't mean to pry, but you seem to be traveling without weapons. Has something gone wrong?
Yes, I believe one of your associates, the Magister Roburn, I believe he titled himself, found it necessary to confiscate a number of my tools and utilities for the time being.
This is most unusual. I informed him that you and your party would be arriving, hopefully in the next few days. I will speak with him, and I will make sure that your items are returned to you.
Would be appreciated.
Including the mask.
Out of character, I'm pretty sure Erevan still has the mask.
Oh. He said he took important things, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
my weapons! Those are important things.
Masks are weapons.
During the conversation, it seemed as though the wizards thought that the mask was simply in very poor taste. Not that it was some sort of powerful artifact.
Gotcha.
I'll destroy them.
What kind of flaw did you pick up? Jeez.
I hate the College of Wizards. That's my flaw.
Favorite enemy?
He just hates Waterdeep. Anything and everything to do with Waterdeep.
Sorry about that. My wife came home and she's really hurting from work, so I had to go make sure she was all right.
No problem.
Gotta take care of the wife.
I do.
So,
It's important.
Yep.
For fragile people.
Quite.
I think that for now, unless if there's other things you guys want to do now that you're back in town, that before we get to the council session that Leosin was referring to, we should probably at least try to get Chip and Adam back online.
At least their opinions, yeah.
Great.
So, unless you guys have actions or things you'd like to do in Waterdeep now that you're back in a city, we can kind of wrap it up for here for tonight.
Yeah, there's a few things that Xavier wants to take care of.
Okay.
I'm debating on taking care of something. I'm not sure how to go about it yet, so
He wants to go.
letting Xavier go first.
Xavier wants to go through and find a fence, preferably one that's not managed by that piece of shit clan.
Piece of shit clan.
Yeah, I got them written down somewhere here. Hold on.
It's not a very good name, is it?
No.
You see, they did defend the post, but the C fell off, now they're just POS.
I have it written down. Where did it go?
You mean the people you got on the really wrong side of the last time you were in town?
Yeah, those guys.
What did I call them? The house of something.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I know I've got it in here, but I'm trying to remember where it's at. Wait,
House Xander was the fallen and disgraced house.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Where is it
So-
in my notes?
Pro tip
Yes.
as a GM. If you're going to be making on-the-fly decisions like naming houses and things that happen kind of unexpectedly, it's good to make notes somewhere.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm relying on you guys to make my notes.
That's what a VOD is for. You just have to remember where it happened. Yeah, so preferably not one that's, by House Xander, so away from that particular merchant district. And I'm
So
just go fence the things I can.
okay.
And
So what is it
maybe,
you're trying to fence?
The dragon statue, the black dragon statue, and the tapestry, the Tiamat tapestry.
Okay. So make me. We don't have streetwise. What do we have? I guess investigation's the closest.
Yeah, either that or perception. I can do 21.
Yeah, so investigation will work. So you kind of, getting back to a city which you're not overly familiar with, but in your
passing
time,
through, killed some people.
well, in your time as a dungeon delver, you had to deal with people who might be interested in acquiring things of unknown provenance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And most of the adventurers congregate in cities, not in small towns. So you're not entirely unused to dealing with cities. This is only your second time through Waterdeep.
Correct.
You remember the places you ran into those people the first time, so you kind of avoid that part of town. You're able to find a shop. It's the equivalent of like a pawn shop.
Mm-hmm. Before I walk in there, I want to make sure that I disguise self to change my face.
Okay.
Just for, I'll appear as like a human or something.
Okay. And I'll let you do I guess kind of make your pitch to the guy, and then you can make an insight check to see if he's interested in these goods that you've got.
Mm-hmm.
You found someone you think will work,
Right.
but you've just been told that there have been dragon attacks. There's a bunch of refugees in the city. It's basically the activities of the cult of the dragon are now more or less visible for everybody to see. They're actively it's getting to the point where people are fleeing to the walled cities to protect themselves. So you've got to see if this guy would be willing to buy things that
cult related.
May not be easy to unload anytime soon.
Right. All right. So I'll walk up to him and say, I know that there's these this dragon cult floating around here, and I might have been able to procure some items from one of their carts that they were traveling out of Waterdeep with, and they seem to be quite valuable, and to the right collector, they would catch a hefty sum for you. And I was wondering if you were interested in something of that kind of value.
Well, now if the price is right, I'm always interested in a good deal. What exactly is it you've managed to find that fell off the back of that cart?
So I'll describe it. I'll describe the statue. It's about yay high, approximately 20 pounds, gem encrusted. I can't remember.
Gem encrusted.
Yes.
I think I may have to see this before I can give you a proper valuation.
Mm-hmm. And I also have a very large tapestry that is woven with silver and gold thread, as well as it being gem encrusted, but it depicts a rather nefarious dragon.
Let me see what you've got.
So I'll go through it. Is it like an open establishment, or is it like inside of a shop?
This is more like inside of a shop.
Okay, so I'll go over and close the door, make sure that nobody's looking, and I'll pull out the statue first and put it on the table.
And you notice him reacting to it. Go ahead and make your insight check.
Yep. Shit.
You kind of think he's a little off-put by this statue. It's like it's a little too realistic in its renderings. I mean, not that he thinks it's alive or anything.
Right,
just
right.
It's a little unnerving. And he's just looking at it, and he says, all right, that certainly is something that could be... I might be able to find a buyer for that. Could be a challenge, especially given the times, but perhaps we could come to an agreement.
Oh, of course. And I know with dark times, out come the woodworks of the noble families. They like collecting the dark items.
Perhaps. And says he pulls out like a little spyglass sort of thing and starts really inspecting this statue. So I can see that it's well made and certainly valuable. I think I could give you... And he pulls out some gemstones. and you can tell like these are kind of a hidden stash
Oh, yeah,
of fairly nice ones. It says, I think I'd be willing to exchange. He puts 4 matching diamonds down. Very nicely crafted. You know, they're excellent cut and quality as far as you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Clarity's good and all that.
Yeah, it's like they're very clear. They're shiny. You know, they sparkle in the torchlight and everything. I'll give you these and 50 platinum pieces for the statue.
I kind of do you mind if I inspect the gems?
Of course not. Of course not.
So I'll grab one up and just take a really good look at it with these eagle eyes and just try to like make sure that they're legit.
So as you're trying to look at it through your eagle eyes, you realize that this isn't really going to help you like right up in front of it. It's like they're great for long distance, but
okay, so I lift up my goggles a little bit and then I pull it in close. Make sure it feels legit, looks legit.
It looks like a very nice diamond.
Okay. Do I have a rough like value?
Considering, you know, things you've seen elsewhere, these are fairly large. You're figuring these might be worth 600-700 gold pieces.
Okay. Okay, so he's offering approximately 3,300 gold. So I'll say, if I brought out the tapestry as well, do you think we can make some kind of a group deal on this?
Well, it depends on what this tapestry is.
How much space do you have in back?
I've got a reasonable amount of room, but I'm not sure I feel like inviting you into the back of my shop.
I have dinner first.
Fair enough. It's a large tapestry. So I'll pull it out, and it's kind of folded in like this huge square. And so all you can really see is like the top left corner of the tapestry.
Well, basically there's some tables with have some goods on them, and as he sees you pulling this thing out of this bag, he knows it's a bag of holding.
Oh, he would have known that from the statue.
Yeah, I know, but he clearly is like, okay, these people, they obviously have seen some things and are kind of know what they're doing.
I'm in the business.
And he kind of makes room, like he shifts some things around, and you can basically lay this tapestry across a couple of tables.
Okay.
And you can't unroll the whole thing easily, but you can certainly show him bits and pieces of it.
I think like a good third of it. So yeah, I do that. I roll it out.
Okay, and make me another insight check.
Yep. Inside. God damn it, dice.
You know, again, he's looking at this and he's kind of like,
this is some serious cult shit.
yeah. It's like, I don't think I want to acquire that. That is clearly a fine quality, but I'm afraid I would never be able to offload it, and certainly anyone who happened to see it would think, I just don't think I'm interested. The statue, my offer stands, but
okay. Let's go. See, what did I say it came out to? Let's go the 4 diamonds and 150 platinum.
That I just no. I can't do that. I might be able to fetch that from a client who might be interested. I certainly can't pay that for it and expect to make any profit off this transaction. I think my offer is more than fair. If you wish to find the collector yourself who might be interested in purchasing it, you're welcome to try.
Friendly barter. Yeah, that's fine. I can work with that.
He, again, kind of reaches down somewhere you can't see and pulls out a small sack and reaches in and counts out 50 platinum pieces. And then you have the 4 diamonds.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure doing business with you.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you as well. And because you've been so good to deal with, I would caution you about showing that to anyone else. While it may have fallen off the back of a wagon, it is... Well, I don't think you'll find many around here who appreciate the depiction of Waterdeep in ruins.
I agree with that. And probably just have to dismantle it and take the parts and try to make something worth with that. Well, I do appreciate your time. Would you happen to know of anyone who would provide enchantments on weaponry at a reasonable rate?
Well, it seems like, there are practitioners who can do some of the work. The largest supply, those most interested in conducting the work for pay or for trade, tend to be those at the Mages College. If you don't wish to deal with them, which, trust me, I understand, they're next to impossible to speak to. But aside from them, there's a fellow named Narder.
Narder, okay. Is he a practitioner or a purveyor?
I couldn't say for sure. I have my suspicions that he's a practitioner. But anyway, his shop is over at the dock ward. Ask around. I'm sure you won't have any trouble finding him.
You wouldn't by chance happen to have any weapons of notable value?
No, sorry, that's not my kind of business.
I wasn't sure. Well, again, great doing business with you, and I'll be in town for a little bit, so if I need to find you again, then maybe we can do business again.
Yes. If you happen to find anything else that's fallen off the back of a wagon, let me know.
Let me catch your name so I know exactly who to come to.
I'm Win.
Well, you definitely won tonight.
Yes, I've never heard that one before. But the name is Win Gary.
Well, Win Gary, it's been a pleasure.
Just Win is fine. And
of course.
Yes, good day to you too, sir.
And I will give him a few seconds to make sure that the statue is tucked away, and then I'll walk out.
Okay.
while keeping an eye on my back because I just procured a large amount of coin and gold. So I'll walk out and I'll go meet back up with Octavia wherever she's at.
So while you were doing that, yeah, Octavia, there was something you wanted to do?
I don't know yet. I'm just debating still how to go about it because I have an idea, but I'm like, I don't know how well it's going to play out.
Well, there's no time like the present.
I'm going to try and find my handsome gentleman once again. I don't know how to go about doing that. But I think he left me a card.
You sure did.
Go up to a knight, be like, hey, this guy, he's around here, yes?
So if you want to take the card that he left with you, and yeah, you can show it to basically any of the people who kind of sort of look like guardsmen around the city.
Yeah, I'll just show it to one of them. Be like, I need to speak with him.
And do you remember his name?
Not even slightly. I thought I wrote it down in my notes, but I don't.
Yeah, you're asking Amanda if she knows someone's name?
Varian. There we go.
Snapdragon.
Yes, obviously.
Snapjaw.
Yes, that's a good point.
Lizard man guy person.
The lizard guy shows up and, hey guys, where you been?
Hey guys, it's Tom Exposition.
I've seriously thought about having Tom Exposition in our
I
game.
think every campaign needs a little comic relief with a Tom Exposition that just shows up because you don't remember something.
Not only is he good for players, he's good for DMs too.
300 gold pieces.
Yeah.
For just one location.
Guys, that's just wow. I mean, it's so great to see you again. Just let me. You know what? I can get that for you for just 300 gold pieces. Oh,
God,
anyway.
He's got some memorable NPCs.
Yes, he does.
That cleric. Oh God, I can't remember her name. Would you like to make a donation to the church? So good.
Okay. Anyway, so they point you back towards the castle ward, and they tell you, yes, Barian can be found at the manor of Lord Solvacus.
Ah, that's what I thought. Okay, yes. Thank you very much. I'll head that way. And basically, the next card I find, I will point to the card again because I get lost very easily.
Okay. You keep getting pointed in that general direction. And slowly you get, closer and closer. And finally, you're at a large manor house. It's got a fancy gate out front. And there are a couple of guards, not at the gate, but at the manor house, a little ways back. And you see some guards also patrolling.
And I'll wave one of them down and point to the card. Excuse me, I'm looking for this gentleman. Yes, I was told he would be here.
Yes. Commander Barian, yes, give us, please, come in. And one of them, opens the gate for you and ushers you in. Again, this is a very nice manor home. Manicured lawns, not the park-like atmosphere, but definitely well maintained. Rich people definitely live here.
There's not one blade of grass out of place.
Well, there's the one, but it was harshly punished when it was found.
I would believe it. It's dead now.
And they basically bring you inside the house into the entry hall and give you kind of a seat. So if you'll
I
just wait here one
definitely look
moment,
like I
please.
belong here, seeing that I haven't showered in 3 months. But I did.
In that case, they
almost
ask you
die.
to wait just outside the front door.
I'm just thinking, I must look really great to these rich people. Yep, this person's covered in half mud. She was definitely burnt or frozen, or been through some shit. But I'm here. My hair is slightly fried, but I'm okay.
And in just a moment, you see the striking figure of Commander Barian.
I wish I was showered.
And as he comes down, he says, Octavia, it is most good to see you again. I am so happy that you're safe.
Oh, I could say the same thing about you, dear friend, whose name I would never forget. Barian.
You have no idea, it does my heart good to know that you have not also succumbed to the evils of that cruel young man, Erevan.
Well, there's a lot of evil going on in the world right now, indeed, but,
Indeed there is. So you wish to see me. Have you made your decision? Have you finally come to see the wisdom of my request?
Well, partially, but I was hoping that maybe we could make some sort of an arrangement.
Do speak on.
Well, you see, I found myself in a predicament. There's great evil in the world that I am trying to battle against, and I find it necessary to keep certain things close to be able to combat these greater evils. And so although I do believe everyone should, in the end, pay for the wrongdoings, I believe we must put the greater evil in front of a lesser evil for the time being. Does that make any sense?
Dear Octavia, I'm not entirely sure I follow your meanings.
I'm not entirely sure I do either, but I'm trying here. What?
I rejoice that you are standing up and fighting against the great evils that abound in this land. What is it that this does have to do with Erevan, does it not?
Indeed, it partially does. Sorry, my mom and sister just got home, so I might be muting on and off. They're loud individuals. They're very loud.
Just talk louder.
But I'm not very loud. Indeed, it does partially have to do with Erevan. But what I'm trying to say is I will have information for you regarding him, but for now I must keep it with me because I require the information to be stuck with me for a while longer until I'm able to fight the greater of the greater evils. And then we will be able to work on this lesser evil. Although it is quite evil, what you've described, I must do what I believe is best and follow the path I believe Bahamut has set forward for me.
I believe I understand you. As I said before, it is the most dangerous path that you have set out upon. I ask the blessings of the gods to protect you in this. If
As do I.
You would allow me, I also would protect you.
Oh, she will blush at that. He is very handsome. Um,
But
you have a very important job here to do, and I would hate to take you from your duties.
well, I do thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I can. Well, when I heard that you had returned asking for me, I begged leave for the rest of the day. I thought this might very well be a vitally important matter. The least I can do is walk you back to your accommodations. And he kind of puts out his arm for you to like rest your hand upon.
And I will take his arm and I'll be like, well, yes, it would be quite lovely to enjoy evening, seeing as where our lives have taken us previously. It's nice to relax for a time. I only hope your nose is stuffed, because I'm sure I'm not a very sightly person right now. Been through quite a lot.
I have also been on campaign before. I understand the rigors of the road. If you would like, I can actually show you to a very nice bathhouse. I'm sure it would be most refreshing for you.
Oh, that does sound very lovely. I too love baths. The bubbles.
And so he starts like walking you over. It's a few blocks. Kinda
Ben
heading
just
back.
likes to bathe my characters. That's all this is.
It's a few blocks away. It's still in the very nice part of town, and the he takes you to a domed little building that you go inside, and you see that there are attendants who are going back and forth with pails of water, and the Varian steps up and begins speaking with the person at kind of the front reception area, and explains that he would like to, get a suite for bathing, needs towels and all the other stuff, wants fragrances, and you're only sort of hearing it, but it sounds like he's taking care of you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And
It's going to be so clean. Everyone's going to be so jealous.
And he takes like the collection of stuff and begins leading you back to where you're supposed to go. And he like opens one of the doors for you, steps in, puts the stuff down, watches as the servants come in and like fill this large soaking tub full of hot water. And as they leave, he starts towards the door and closes it, and then turns around to you, and in his most smoldering look,
Oh, jeez.
he says, "I assume you'll need help getting out of that armor."
Oh, jeez. She's not going to refuse that. I mean, he's very handsome.
And he rolls a 15 for his charisma check.
The DC was like a 3.
Well, no, it's an opposed charisma check if she wants this to be an opposed charisma check.
He won't refuse that. I mean, he's a very handsome person offering to help her. I mean, come on. After Boggs, she's happy for a nice night like this, okay?
Fair
Sorry,
enough.
Bob. He is like a terrible person.
She's going to be cursed.
Really working
Watch.
on it.
She's going to come back cursed.
Working on it. She doesn't mean to. He's handsome.
So
He's been on the road a long time.
let's see. We're gonna roll with advantage to see how his performance is.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Ones.
wow! He rolled a natural 17.
Ooh.
So he's able to help soothe a lot of your aches.
That's good.
We'll
The
leave it at
water's
that.
nice and warm. We'll leave it at that. Don't tell Allie.
Don't tell Allie about your character having relations with an imaginary person. Okay.
She'd be so disappointed in me.
No, she really wouldn't.
Wow.
Oh, that poor character. She's a whore. Oh,
So we
So-
know how Amanda rolls.
Call it an hour and a half later. You are definitely refreshed, clean, relaxed. Even your armor has had a chance to be polished.
beautiful.
Oh, great.
I'm
Like,
not
we didn't
gonna
need her
put
to
it on
stand
yet,
out
though.
more.
I'm just gonna be in like normal clothes.
I'm going to say, maybe not polished, it's been cleaned.
Polished. I really like polished.
I
It would
feel
take a
sorry
long
for the-
time to polish it.
feel sorry for the poor soul that had to clean the crap out of her.
Yeah, me too, because I
Clothes.
literally fell into a puddle of poop. So
You
It's
bathed
really
after that, mostly.
mostly. Then I got like attacked by tentacle monsters, so I don't know if it counts.
So, anyway, he continues
Oh,
to like once you're done with the bathhouse, he does walk you back to the inn and delivers you safely there, and again tells you that he hopes that you are careful and that everything will work out as you hope it will, and that should you need him, you know where he is.
I will remember your name, and I know where to find you.
So I wonder
And-
who Octavia's new character is.
And he once again kind of gives you that look and he says, I hope you remember more than my name.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, she
Getting the hookups.
still wink. Still wink at him,
Okay.
and she'll make her way. Gonna go find food now. She's a little exhausted. She's had quite a day.
Isn't
know,
this the Hamlet city?
That's not how I planned this to go at all. Okay, yes, this is the Hamlet City.
This is the Hamlet City, yes.
That's how it's known for in my.
Settle for sausages.
So, we're all
I
ignoring
bet
that pun.
Arian might have some.
Was there anything else you wanted to do while you were out, Octavia?
No, you know what? I think she's done more than enough damage for one day. She's gonna go
All
pray.
she needs to spiritually cleanse herself.
I've let you down once again, Mohammed.
I'm not sure Muhammad has strong views on this.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Don't
But
you
know
blame
what?
your choices on Bahamut?
If he had strong choices, you would have lost your cleric hood back at Bog.
She just does what's best for the group, really. I mean, you know.
Oh, clearly she's doing what's best for the group.
Well, maybe she'll be thinking straight. That might be helpful.
I mean, this is probably going to clear her head a lot. Like I said, she's praying now, okay?
Well, in that case, since she's busy, I'm going to go find Aravan.
Just say,
Xavier
wait.
finds her in the bathhouse. Oh, never mind. I'm going to go find
wait,
Evan
wait,
now.
like in a month and a half when she starts getting sick every morning.
Oh, God. Bahamut
Bad
didn't clear
ham, right?
that.
What kind of alcohol have you guys been feeding me?
Bog
I'm
ale.
going through the ham withdrawals. Oh, dear God.
I mean, we can't have D&D straying too far away from reality.
Oh, jeez. My damage here is done.
Well,
You can
that's
move on.
that's never brought up, right? You need to roll a Constitution save.
No,
This
I
is
think
D&D.
it's more.
It's got to happen.
I think it's more like you need to roll a D100.
Anything above a 1,
Yeah.
you know what happens.
Let's see.
Anything above a 1. Oh, no. Then at least she'll have a reason to eat. I'll feel her pain.
We
Let's see.
can't bring you out
I'd say
like
more
that.
like, anything like 15 or below on a D100.
Yeah, low numbers. Low
Oh,
numbers.
God. Don't do this to me,
Do it.
guys.
Roll a 100. I want to see. Percentile.
You get to blame Xavier for this one. This was all his idea.
Oh, come on. You know you want it to happen, too.
I don't even know how to roll a D100 on this.
I think you pick up the D10 and right-click. No, you right-click on the D10. Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
D10.
And then it just the percent.
Bottle. Oh, whew. Safe today.
Woo! He is so glad she prayed.
Forgive me, Bahamut, for I have sinned many times.
And it
And
was
I enjoyed
awesome.
it.
That was good.
Oh, jeez. Octavia, what's happened to you? You strayed so far.
Me?
I mean, at least this one was much better than last. Okay?
I think
You
if
said
you,
Xavier,
if
didn't you?
Yeah,
she said
What did I
Octavia.
done?
I heard Xavier.
I heard
That
Xavier.
she strayed so far from.
She strayed so far she doesn't even know who she is anymore.
But Octavia, personally, I think if you think back to your character's origins, maybe you haven't strayed nearly as far as you think.
That may be true.
So,
I'm not sure
anyway,
back on my origin.
In the interest of time.
So before Octavia would have left, because Amanda wasn't here when we were harvesting the dragon and talking about it, what kind of armor does Octavia have?
I have scale mail.
Scale mail? And would she be interested in upgrading that with the white dragon scales?
Oh, yes. I would look so good in white dragon scales.
Okay.
Match your hair.
Good to know.
Ah, yeah. That would be so pretty. Then Marion could definitely take me to that house.
So we can get a
we have new slang.
suit of...
Sorry, guys, I can't make tonight. Going to the bathhouse.
So we can make one suit of medium of scale mail, and then we can do a shield, a helm, or a cloak. Probably
I was
a cloak.
thinking
Give her a cloak, too. Make it just fabulous.
God.
I was thinking a cloak for Numa since Numa killed the thing. So
Well, it
that way
depends,
he's got
it
it.
depends on if
He
it's
has
armor.
the eye.
If
Okay,
if
he
it
has
counts
the
as
eye.
armor,
Cloaks
then
don't
he
count
can.
as armor.
Okay, then he could wear it, too. We don't know what it
But I
does,
would-
though. We don't know what a cloak does. Could just look fabulous.
It could look fabulous, and then I still want to give it to him.
But
It
if,
could look terrible, and I want to give it to him.
if he's
trophy,
hanging
it's an
upside down, it'll
accomplishment.
get in his face.
With the appropriate application of funds, it could also be a cold resistance cloak.
You see?
Ooh.
Ooh.
That
Well,
sounds cool.
Xavier
I mean, we
wants to
really
meet up
haven't
with-
come across much fun, so let's be honest here.
Xavier wants to meet up with Erevan and see if he can get some of the bones to go take to a wizard.
Here's 6 of them.
All right, well, you guys can think about that for next week.
Oh.
All right.
Well, that's definitely what I'm doing.
To say, I'll be perfectly honest, I really thought when I asked Octavia what she wanted to do, it was going to be like, I'm going to finally confront Erevan and talk to him.
Oh.
No.
And nope. Nope.
Things went slightly different.
So
Well,
is this something that happened
okay.
before Erevan or Xavier?
No, this
Xavier was
the whole
there.
thing with Barian happened one week when like basically nobody could make it, and so it was just
Oh, you guys were just
Erevan and Octavia doing like a one-off.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then I wasn't there.
It was
And I
exploring
heard-
Erevan's background while we were in Waterdeep the last time,
Oh, and I missed it.
and so it was mainly for him. But since Octavia was there, and given his
away from that.
backstory, it got she got involved too,
Cool.
and she's been keeping
Yeah.
it all secret.
Like
Well,
a
you know how
terrible
you can
human
contact-
being.
Hey, I've
She's
heard
now
he killed
literally
the family.
sleeping with the enemy. How
Oh,
could
jeez.
you?
I mean, do I really know if he's the enemy anymore? Because I'm pretty sure he's treating me better than you guys have.
Good thing you didn't let Xavier know that. You're not going to wake up in the morning.
Oh,
Maybe it doesn't.
I know.
But
I'm
I
saying
am
good
gonna,
thing
I'm
you-
gonna be
No.
more vigilant on trying to figure out Erevan's life now, because I'm like, I might turn you in still, I'm not sure, but we did just slay a dragon together, so we kind of have a connection. But then I'm like, well, this is a new connection I didn't expect to have. So fuck.
A
No.
love connection.
Literally.
Uh, Let me help you with that armor. Oh,
I
okay.
need to put that in my notes here.
Well, guys, it's been fun.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Oh goodness.
So I want you all to ponder about the death and destruction that has been wrought in your absence, and the fact that I didn't really highlight it because you guys were kind of passing through the fancier areas of the city, but there are substantial numbers of refugees, like in the poorer parts of Waterdeep. Like as Xavier went out trying to find places, he saw a lot of people like begging on the streets, sleeping in alleys. Things don't look very good
Whoa
right
there,
now.
Ben. Whoa there. No one can sleep with Allie.
It's Dark Alley. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Is it the one with 4 dead bodies in it?
He's different.
Yeah, that same one. That exact one.
That dark alley. Got it.
All right, everybody.
Have a good night.
Yeah, y'all have a
okay.
good night too.
We will definitely know if they watch the VOD or not
Yes,
based on the
yes, we will.
reactions they come in next week.
Right?
Oh, God.
You'll have to text and be like, you definitely need to watch the VOD.
Yep.